Let me ask you a question. When was the last time that you really sat down and thought about your life? I mean, I do it all the time, but it's kind of like a weird reaction for me. I just tend to kind of, just fall back into everything that I used to know and everything I used to be and all the people that I knew. It was kind of weird, really. It's like the other day I was thinking to myself, where the hell did I think I was going to take on the world? I guess it started when I was late teens. I thought I was going to rule the world for some strange reason. I guess it's every 15-year-old, but as far as I'm concerned, I never felt it, never understood it. Is it possible that I could have? No. I felt like it, though. I really, really, really wanted to. See, when I was 15, the world was a lot simpler. You didn't have to worry about screens. You didn't have to worry about social media. You didn't worry about what was on TV. Well, we kind of did on the TV thing, but I guess, not really. We saw what was on TV. We didn't try and live what was on TV, at least for the most of us. But I had these times. I guess I was delusional in a way, but I thought I could take on anything. And then I joined the military. Nah, I didn't beat the military. Actually, the military kind of beat me, but that's a story for another day. Let's talk about before the military. I spent a lot of years, I guess, hanging out with my brother and a few of my friends, Shane, and what was that one kid's name? It was Steven. Steven died. I'm trying to think of that other guy. Oh yeah, Daniel. And I don't know, we had a lot of fun. We did stupid things. We got into trouble. Of course, it wasn't a group effort. Actually, when I talk about my friends, and this is a thing about me that you might not know, but for me, a lot of people will tell me that having a group of friends is the way to go. But yeah, throughout my life, I've always found myself just kind of, one friend at a time. I kept that kind of, what's the word? I don't know. I took that as, no, just two friends. That's it. Maybe. Usually just one. I'm rambling. But anyways, throughout my life, I've always had the one best friend. Like for Daniel, he was for a little while, and then Shane. Steven was like earlier in time, but that's a different story. I don't know. We just got into trouble. Actually, we did a lot of goofy stuff that we weren't supposed to do, but we never really got in trouble. And I attribute it. And in our time, I don't know why, but today's kids, they just don't respect parents because I am one and they don't. But my point is when we were kids, no matter how much of a badass you were, you still respected your parents at least to try and stay out of trouble, right? But these kids today, they don't do that. Like, when I was a kid, something stupid we did, because cars were different back then. If you did it now, the car would just break. But back in the day, we used to be out in the back of these these back streets. They were always trying to look like they were building something, but they never really built anything. Anyways, there's a lot of these streets that led to nowhere in this little back neighborhood, and it's over here in Houston, Texas. But no, we used to go back there with his mom's old station wagon. It was kind of fun, but we would put the car into reverse and just nail the gas, right? As hard as you could, just slam on it. And we'd get up to, high speeds. You're losing control of the car. You're going backwards. And this fool would just throw it into drive and just... Them tires would smoke. This is a station wagon. Old school, late 80s, brown with that green wood-looking panel thing. Just the most ugliest car you've ever seen. But anyways, we would tear this transmission up and do all kinds of stuff. And matter of fact, it reminds me of the story. Me and my brother, one summer, we were living pretty much in the same house that I was living in when we were back messing with that car. It was, mid-90s, 95, 96. And there was a school being built, which one of my relatives ended up going to for elementary school. But anyways, they were building the school out there, so they started clearing trees and I guess setting up to make the foundation and just kind of clearing out the land to do all their stuff. But I mean, there was no decisive stuff going on. They were just getting started. So, anyways, there was this, I guess, summer break, and they weren't out there building. It was out there for almost a month, and there was just all this stuff sitting out there. So, me and my brother get this crazy idea to go over to this area, which was like there was the back of our house, and then there was a ditch. Like we had 10 feet, 15 feet of ground, and then it just kind of went into this little ravine ditch kind of thing. Anyways, we'd go on the other side of that, and then you'd walk another, 100 yards, 150 yards, and you were standing really in the middle of this field. And I don't know which one of us did it. It was probably, I want to say it was probably him. I love my brother, man, but he is the devious one. I've had my moments, but he's devious. Anyways, this guy decides to say, hey, let's go check out the trucks. Let's go out and check out the tractors and all that kind of stuff. So we go check out the tractors, and I think one of the tractors they didn't have it. Okay. Anyways, we checked a couple of them, and then we came across one that had a key in it. So we decided to see if we can turn the key. So we turned the key. Of course, it started up, or this would be a terrible story. Anyways, so we started it up, and we were driving it around, and then he got the idea, oh, let's check some of the others. So he checked some of the others, and about 4 of them had keys still in the ignition. This is the mid-'90s. Nobody got worried about being robbed. You didn't think about it. But of course, this is, Texas America. This is a Texas upbringing story, by the way. Anyways, so we get out there, and he finds one he likes. It's big, long. I think it's Caterpillar, and it's like a long, skinny one, and there's like a blade in the middle for kind of like, I don't know, like digging these. I guess it's like a trench, or hell, I don't know. Anyways, he's driving that one, and I've got one that looks like a bulldozer, with the big wheel in the front, big wheel in the back, the things that flattens things. Well, they also have some that they have spikes on them, but they're not really spikes. They go out about 5 inches, and then it just flattens. So it's like big, flat things, whatever. I'm driving it around. He's driving his around. We're what? 17 and 14, 16 and 13, whatever, somewhere in there. And we were just driving these around, and all of a sudden we found these trees that had these ribbons on them. So we were like, are these ribbons? Are we supposed to knock them down, or are we supposed to leave them up? What do they mean? And we're really talking like this, and we're really wondering. So we decide, because we don't actually have the mandate, the piece of paper, the construction information, which we didn't know at the time. We didn't have it, so we just guessed. And we decided that everything that had a flag on it was to be destroyed. So he took his, and I took mine, and we were trying to knock down trees, and I rolled over a couple because it's a bulldozer, and his is really not made for that. So I got off mine and jumped into his, and he's kind of cruising around, showing me the stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I say, hey, let me get in. Let me do this. He says, okay, which is probably the wrong thing to do. And then he says, all right, let's crank it up. So he cranks it up. We go cruising. I'm doing probably about 35, 40 miles an hour. And I said, what's this lever do? So I reached down for this lever, man. And what's really super stupid about me, instead of just easing into it, what does it feel like? No, I just hard bore, just... Well, what it is it's a lever that makes this big giant blade we were talking about earlier in the middle go to one side. So think about maybe like a 15-foot steel blade, really big, just all to one side. Well, it starts to lean. So the tractor starts turning that direction, which leans harder. And then it just digs into the ground. The entire tractor, and I may be embellishing a little bit, but to us as kids, and I will stick by my story, we went over almost like a 180 arc over the blade in the side. It was crazy. And then we slammed on the other side. And all I remember is we got out. We were freaking out. We were like, oh, my God, is it broken up? Blah, 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 blah. So we get just like, two scared boys. We ran off. And we got back to the house. Of course, we're all freaking out. And, oh, my God, we did this. And, oh, my God, we did that. Oh, did you see that? Oh, did you see that? And what makes me laugh about that, I know I'm older. I can get away with it. But anyways, back in those days, to do something like that was crazy, right? But outside of that, we didn't really get into that much trouble. We did, I mean, there were our moments, we had them, but they were, spaced out. These kids today, jeez Louise, man, it's never ending. They are in trouble all of the time. Okay, maybe I might be a little overzealous because I'm like a warden in my house. It feels like. I thought when I was going to have kids, it was going to be sunshines and rainbows and blah, blah, blah. No, I have kids now, and I've had to raise four and a half. Okay, here's how I got two of them that were already in their early teens, and it's hard to connect there. Maybe some people can do it, but I can't do it. But anyways, I tried to connect with them. One of them did really good. The other one, not so much, but whatever. I have three younger ones. One with my first wife from back when. Another story. But no, I've pretty much raised five kids, really. Yeah, one from my first marriage, and then I've raised four. Not my own. I love them to death, as if they are. No matter how bad they are, I still love them. No matter how good they are, I still love them. I know it sounds stupid, but in my house, it makes sense. But the things we did as kids, I keep going back to this, and let me tell you why. I'm spending a lot of time kind of, at least in the last, I listened to a guy named Gavin McInnes. He has a show called Get Off My Lawn. It's on crtv.com. Stupid, shameless plug right now, but I highly recommend it. It's super funny, outlandish, over the top, but it's still down to earth with what. Just watch it. If you get a chance, Get Off My Lawn, CRTV. Anyways, he's been doing these podcasts, and that's why I'm starting mine. I'm giving homage. All right, McGinnis, there you go. Done. I'm doing this because I'm hearing him tell his stories in his life. And one of the mentions that he gives was I was having a conversation. I think it was Joe Rogan. I can't remember. He was saying, I've got thousands and thousands of hours of me and what I think and what I've been through and what I know. My kids have endless hours getting into my brain. Well, we don't get to do that with our parents and their parents before them and blah 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 blah, because technology is it's now. This is what we're living in. So anyways, I want to tell stories of my life, and that's why I was telling you that story back there. That was something I really remember, enjoy. It's a story I go back on, especially when I'm around my brother. We get to laugh about it and have fun, but I want to start putting these out. If somebody's listening, hey, if you're listening to me, anybody, 5, 10, 50 million, I don't care. Yeah, listen to me, 50 million, never going to happen. Anyways, I'm just saying, if you want to hear some good stories, I'll laugh with you. I'll tell you some sad ones. Hell, I'll tell you some goofy-ass, scary ones. But anybody who's listening, I appreciate it. And I'm going to go to bed. It's like 12:40. No, excuse me, I'm retarded. It's 11:45 in the morning. Well, at night. I've had a couple of drinks. Leave me alone. Anyways, it's 11:46 p.m. on, let's see here. I think it's the 6th of September, 2008. Yeah, Thursday. I'm going to start doing these more often. I don't know how often, but I'm going to do some more pretty often. I just want to get some things off my chest. I've got some stories coming up later. Let me tell you what. I've got things like the other day, my kids came to me. School had just started. And I think it was for the first time. Well, not the first time. I've noticed there was some scheming going on with the school system. But now my kids to go to school. And, of course, I'm adding in the taxes that I pay when I pay all my taxes for the end of the year and all the taxes that we pay when we buy stuff and blah, blah, blah. But my main thing is, I think I pay, what was I roughing it? It was probably at least almost $300 a kid, maybe $350 a kid. I was debating the $600 to $700 because I have two of them right now that I'm really there every day. Anyways, the taxes you pay to the school for each kid, it's probably $100, maybe less, towards school funding, taxes, parents, teachers. But anyways, I was thinking about, I was like, hold up, I'm paying about $100 for that per kid, it's $200. I got to get their gym clothes. By the way, they're charging $27 for gym clothes. So that's another $54. So $154. And then, like my daughter, I had to pay monthly for her instrument. Well, see, when I was in school, and I did school now, maybe I'm different, but I didn't pay for my instrument that I learned how to play, but it wasn't mine. When the end of the day came, you had to turn it back in. Somebody else had to buy a mouthpiece. That's $20. I'm paying $57 a month. So anyways, what I'm getting at, and I'll do another podcast about it, and there's so much more to talk about. But what I'm getting at is I have a lot of things on my mind. I have a lot of things that I have to say. I have some old stuff that would be fun to play with. But I'm gonna try and do this a little bit more often. So I hope you guys like it. Hit like, share. I'm gonna try and see if I can find some sort of podcast place where I can just upload the audio. You can listen to it on the go, iCloud or SoundCloud, or there's a few of them. Anyways, this is Jay the Denier. This is a little me at the end of the day, just kind of beating my chest and letting some ideas fly. Good night, guys.